So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. Welcome back, everyone, to Call Me CEO. This is Camille Walker, your host, and today we are talking about how to maximize your time and your business with Stacy Tuschl. And she is going to share with us how she turned her own music business into something now that helps bless so many with growing their businesses to the multi-seven-figure degree, which is just mind-blowing to me. Stacy, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes. Thanks for having me, Camille.
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Tell us where
Yeah.
you're from, how many kids you have, and your story about how you got into this business.
Yeah. So mom of two, and I've been in business. I grew up in business. So my grandfather started a family business that my parents and grandparents worked in. So I literally was born and raised into this family
What kind
business.
of business was it?
They were in construction. So, and they still
Okay.
have it. It's like over 50 years old. They dig basements for houses here in Wisconsin. And then right out of high school, I actually started my business, which was just teaching dance classes in my parents' backyard. I had 17 kids show up the first year. And then within 3 years, I had 100 kids. And then my parents and grandparents who are like in this business world are like, we don't really know much about dance. However, this looks like maybe you could be charging and this could be a thing. And I was going to school, I was going to college thinking I was going to get like a real job. And thankfully this happened and they saw this and kind of put this idea in my head. So 3 years in, I decided, okay, let's make this be a business. I was a junior in college and we incorporated. I found a place to rent. And then all of a sudden it really starts to grow. Cause now I'm like thinking, oh, this is it. Like, let's do this. So we went from 100 to 300 to 500. Now we have 1,600 dance and music students. We added music a few years in. And it's been 20 years since the Backyard Story. And it's just crazy how it's grown. So that's kind of like my first journey. Naturally, what happened was this is like a second shift business. So we teach children. So you only teach kids after school and on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, okay, wait a minute, this is fine now when I'm young and single, but what happens when I want to become a mom?
Mm-hmm.
So I really quickly realized, okay, I'm going to have to figure out how to hire people and get them to work at night and on the weekends when I want to be a mom and be home and take maternity leave and all the things. So that's what got me on the path of like really understanding systems and understanding how to hire and really trust people to come in and run it like you. And then from there, people started in my community going, hold up, how are you doing this? Like the karate studio was like, could we just sit down and talk? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And then like my friend, she had a doctor husband who wanted to open up a med spa. He wanted to pick my brain. And I'm like, what? Like a doctor wants to talk to a dance teacher. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then that kind of naturally birthed my second business, which is Well-Oiled Operations, where I'm now teaching small business owners how to run a business and to get it to really be a business that doesn't need you 24/7.
Yes. This is something I think we can all relate to. And it's something that I actually help with entrepreneurs to do is to hire virtual assistants, but we're talking about physical employees here too. So for those of you who are listening, either way, whether it's virtual or in person, what would you say some of those top tips are for finding someone that you can trust to be able to walk away from the business and have it run the way you want it to be run?
Yeah. And I do agree. Like this could be contractor, employee, in person, remote, Filipino VAs in the United States. It doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. You're treating them the same, right? You have to, first of all, attract a high level performer, right? Mm-hmm. There are things I say in my job description or in my hiring, kind of like a marketing funnel, but for potential people. I want them, just like good marketing either attracts or repels. That's what I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will flat out say like fast pace, hardworking, great work ethic. Because if you read that and you think, oh, I'm kind of looking for something easy. I don't want you coming to work for me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very blunt but I also want to attract the person who's excited to work with a growing company in a fast pace and is excited that things are changing. So it's definitely about attracting the right people. And then it's training, supporting, giving them feedback. I see a lot of my clients not having time to give feedback, and then blaming the person for not being
Mm-hmm.
good. And I'm like, hold up. Like, you can't just hire them and think that you're just going to know what to do. People will say, well, I hired them for social media. Like, they should know what they're doing, but they've never worked for you. They don't know your brand, your voice, your product. So you have to pour into these people for them to really start to understand, and you'll gain more confidence as you do that with them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Is that something, speaking of in person or, remote, how often do you suggest that people have meetings with new hires? If they were to
Yeah.
be, in the training process, whether that's in physical or remote, how
Yeah.
often are you suggesting people do that?
So we suggest like every day for the first 30 days, which
Mhm.
is, people usually don't do that. They're like, what? That's crazy. But then they see my team and then they go, they're so amazing. I'm like, because I pour into them. This is why.
Yeah.
It's not like I have these random people who are just unicorns. It's like, no, no, no. You get what you attract, first of all, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I also think you get what you put in. So we put in a lot, hoping we get out a lot at that end of the 90 days. So the first 30 days, I mean, even if it's just touching base, how's
Yeah.
it going? What happened yesterday? Where'd you struggle? What do you need support with? Like, where'd you get stuck? It might be a 5-minute quick meeting, right? And in my brick and mortar, we still have Zoom meetings. And even though most of my people that work in Well Oiled are local to me in Wisconsin, we all work on Zoom and we all work from our home office. So
Mhm.
we're still doing these meetings, like popping in mostly virtually.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. So
Mhm.
first 30 days, every day from day
Yeah.
30 to 90, is it maybe once a
Yeah.
week or?
So month 2, it's going to look a little different for everybody. It depends. How much should you really pour into them and how fast are they getting it? Sometimes you get somebody who comes in and they don't need a lot of assistance.
Mhm.
Sometimes you get somebody who needs a lot of hand holding. So it's going to look different for everybody. But
Mhm.
month 2, I might hope to get that down to maybe 2 or 3 times a week, right? Maybe it's like a Tuesday, Thursday thing, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, depending on the person. And then pretty soon the goal is to get them down to once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
like
but
that.
even like 3 years from now, we still want to be meeting once a week. Like,
Mhm.
I need to give them individual support so they can take it and run with it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's talk some about the systems that you
Yeah.
put into place and what has made your business so successful and all of those people that you teach have successful
Yeah.
businesses. What are some systems or processes that you swear by?
Yeah. So I think, even just taking a step back, I always say it's like the plan, the people, the process.
Mhm.
So you have to get really clear on the plan. And then you've got to figure out, who do I need to implement this plan? And then how do I want to implement the plan? And what is that going to look like? And how can I document it so the people I hired can easily follow it? Right.
Yeah.
Those 3 pieces go together. So I can teach you how to make phenomenal systems. But if you picked the wrong plan or you keep changing the plan, I love when people are like, well, my goal was this, but now I changed it to this. And then I saw we weren't going to do, it's Q1 and Q1 didn't go very well. So I've already changed it. I'm like, hold up, we're only in Q2. You've already changed your 2023 goals. Like, slow down, right? So
Mm.
keeping a solid plan. And then, did you get the right people? Because you can have great systems with the wrong people implementing them,
Mhm.
and they won't follow them. They won't bring the level of standards you have. Just so that, I think, really has to like come full circle of the plan, the people, the process. But once you have the plan, you have the people. Now I always say, just like, start small.